Hello, everyone. My name is Samantha, and welcome to In Hindsight. Stay tuned because we will be talking about some interesting topics. But today, it's all about coconut oil. And yes, you read that title correctly. Coconut oil does not contain protein, and it does not cause protein overload. There is this misconception within the natural hair community that coconut oil contains protein. And people who have used it in excess, in most cases, experience dry, brittle hair, in which eventually they have to stop using coconut oil altogether. And they always attest it to, it's too much protein, it's too much protein, I got protein overload, you're overloaded. I don't even know where y'all got that from. Like, who started that? Like, one person said it, and then the next person took it and passed it on, and it just got passed on from one person to the next person to the next person. And the funny thing is that nobody takes the time to read or research anything. You just going by what other people say. Like, why do you do that? I mean, you do realize that some person who thought they were smart said it because they wanted to sound smart. And then you like, ooh, okay. And then you take that and then you repeat it, not knowing if it's true or not. And you done told so many people, and then you find out later that you sounded real dumb. Anyway, coconut oil contains no protein. There is no protein in coconut oil, okay? Now, the coconut meat has protein, and so does coconut milk and coconut cream. However, it's a very small amount of protein. So even in the process of them extracting the oil from the coconut, whether it be refined or unrefined, the amount of protein is so minute that it's inconsequential. There's no protein, right? And if you don't want to believe that, all you got to do is grab your bottle of coconut oil and read it. I have mine right here. I don't have a bottle though. I got a bucket because I use this stuff. Okay. Mine is premium organic, extra virgin coconut oil, unrefined, pure, cold pressed, all that, right? And if you look at the nutrition facts, down at the bottom, it says 0 grams of protein. So, ladies and gentlemen, there is no protein in coconut oil. Stop telling that lie. And whoever told you, you tell them it ain't. Correct them and let the correct information be known. So now you're like, well, Sam, listen, this happened to me before. I use coconut oil. I had to stop using it because my hair was dry and I had to stop using it. So if it's not protein, then what is it? Your hair was thirsty. It was dry. It needed to drink. Your hair was just thirsty. It was no water. And I'll explain. So let's get in coconut oil and what it's comprised of. Coconut oil is comprised of fatty acids, long chain fatty acids, and medium chain fatty acids. These fatty acids are what allows coconut oil to solidify. Okay. One of the main fatty acids is lauric acid. That's the majority of what coconut oil is comprised of. That lauric acid is what we look for antifungal, antibacterial, and all that good stuff, right? That's a fatty acid. And then you have other long chain fatty acids like caprylic and capric acid and others. There's about 10 of them, okay? Again, these fatty acids are what allows coconut oil to solidify. We know that coconut oil typically will melt at around 78 degrees, give or take, right? Well, these fatty acids within coconut oil all melt at different temperatures. So if you ever notice you got a jar of coconut oil sitting on your counter and you might look at it and like the top part is liquid and then at the bottom is cloudy and at the very bottom you got this hard like crystallized and you'd be like, what is that? Now I don't know, when I first started using coconut oil, I ain't know nothing about that. And I'm thinking, I'm like, ooh, because I'm greedy. I'm like, ooh, this is might be some coconut pieces. I like coconut. Let me scrape this out and, give me a little, put that in my mouth. And it was coconut oil. So just imagine, like at the bottom of that jar where all them hard pieces and crystal pieces are, imagine that being inside of your hair strand. Yes, inside. Coconut oil, like water, okay, because water can enter the cuticle of the hair strand. Coconut oil's molecules are small enough where it allows the oil to penetrate through the cuticle and into the hair strand. It actually enters in the actual middle of your hair strands. So we know that oil and water does not mix. So if you're overusing coconut oil, eventually your hair strand is going to be full of oil and then there's going to be no room for the water and then your hair becomes dry and brittle and eventually break. So let's talk about the long chain fatty acids, including lauric acid in coconut oil. Lauric acid has a high affinity to the protein bonds in your hair strand, which means that it's attracted to it and it binds itself or attaches itself to the hair strand. So depending on the coconut oil that you have, because no coconut oil is made equal, okay? It's a big batch. So sometimes you might have more long chain fatty acids and more lauric acid than medium chain fatty acids. So again, all these acids melt at different temperatures. So let's just say the oil is a liquid when you put it on your hair initially. And let's just say, you like coconut oil, so you using coconut oil and everything, okay? So you got your shampoo got coconut oil, your conditioner got coconut oil, you got a hair cream that you put on there that's got coconut oil in it, and then you have a DIY hair oil or a hair oil that you bought that you use to seal, and that has coconut oil in it. Now, that's just going ham with the coconut oil. And then over time, eventually you start to see that, your hair is dry. Well, that's because there's a buildup of that oil in your hair strand. So because the lauric acid and the high fat or the high, am I saying that right? No. The lauric acid and the long chain fatty acids attach themselves to the protein bonds in your hair strands. That means that they're building up on top of each other. So eventually you have this, just imagine that hard, like I said, that stuff at the bottom, imagine that hard, crusty stuff inside your hair strands. Ain't no water getting in there. So your hair becomes dry, brittle, and then you have to stop using coconut oil. And you have to stop using it completely because those fatty acids attach themselves to each other. And then every time you use a coconut oil product, that oil is going to enter into your strand and attach itself. So you have to stop completely. No coconut oil whatsoever in order to recover from this. So you're saying, okay, well, I like coconut oil. I want to use it. But how do I prevent this from happening? Just don't go ham. You ain't got to use coconut oil so much. I mean, it's supposed to be used a little. First off, a little bit goes a long way. All right. And if you're heavy handed like me and you like to just slather stuff on, because I like to slather stuff on, I ain't gonna lie, just extra. It don't make no sense. I mean, pillowcase just be greasy. If you like to use coconut oil, use it sparingly. You don't have to use a lot of it because a little bit goes a long way. And the main benefit is the lauric acid, the vitamins, the minerals. You don't need a whole lot. And because it's so thin, a little bit does go a long way. Use it like you would use an essential oil. Okay? If you're using if you have a DIY hair sealing oil and you want to put coconut oil in it, that's fine. But you don't have to have coconut oil in every product. I mean, if you're using coconut oil maybe in two things, that's fine. But don't just use coconut oil in everything. Use it in one or two products. If you are high porosity and you put it on your hair so that you don't suffer hydro fatigue, depending on what you're doing that day, using it as a pre-poo in the beginning is fine. Okay. um but again, or even like detang. Sometimes I use it to detangle my hair, depending on what I was doing with my hair. Water and some of that, yeah, I use it. Plus, to nourish my strands, depending on what I was doing. But I don't use it in every step of my routine. So again, you don't have to use coconut oil in every single product that you're using, because you don't need that much. And just use it sparingly and you'll be fine. Oh, and for the newbies, coconut oil is not a sealant. So if you're using it or trying to use it as a sealant, it's not going to work, because it does not seal or lay down the cuticles of your strands, because it goes inside of your cuticles. So it does not lay them down. It does not seal them. So you need an actual sealing oil to keep in the moisture of your hair. So something like grapeseed oil or olive oil or shea butter or any other kind of butter, but you can't use coconut oil because it's not going to work. You're going to end up with dry, crunchy, brittle hair. I guess that's it. So yeah, again, if you know anybody who's saying that, just tell them, hey, nope, 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 that's not it. That's not it. There's no protein in it. It's something else. And just explain it to them and give them the truth. You'll look smart because you actually know the real deal. So, if you like this video, hit the subscribe button. There'll be more interesting topics to come. Until next time, have a good one. Bye.